Welcome to Thirsty Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Jessie Ott, the host of this podcast, which is all about beverage innovation. I talk with innovation pioneers from agriculture to glass. Thank you for listening, and be sure to subscribe to be notified of all new episodes. Welcome, everybody, to Thursday Thursdays. I'm Jessie Ott, and I have an exciting couple here today. I could tell we're going to have a lot of fun. Mike and Dolly Waskewich from the Bar Book. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, Jessie. How are you?
Good, good, good. I believe our mutual friend Epe introduced us, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where are you calling from?
Just outside of D.C. So Epi's just up the road from us in Maryland.
Okay.
But yeah, we're Northern Virginia. We tell everybody D.C. Actually, Springfield, Virginia.
Okay, Springfield. I interned in DC for a while. I lived in the Foggy Bottom area.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think we would the Iowa bar that I would go to was in Crystal City. The Iowa Hawkeye
Wait.
bars.
As I say, you're a Hawkeye. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't say anything because I'm a Jayhawk. So, Hawkeyes, Jayhawks don't get along too well. So congratulations, Jessie.
Yeah, well, we haven't been too great at anything except for women's basketball.
Well, you guys are coming along in men's basketball now too, and football, whereas Kansas is losing all of it from basketball to everything. So
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I guess we're well balanced in that way.
Yes.
So are you both from that area?
Well, that's a complicated question. I was born in Rockville, Maryland, just up the road there. And then my parents moved to Indiana when I was, I think, around 10 or 11. Joined the military at 18 and bounced all over the place. Was stationed in this area quite a few times. And then this just happened to be where we stopped.
Okay.
So a lot of all around the U.S. But I think if you add up the years, DC's a home.
Yeah.
Which is funny because if you were to ask me where Michael's from, I would say Indiana. I'm just his wife. So I am an Army brat, and I will turn on my Southern accent right now because I was born at Fort Benning, Georgia, and was raised in Columbia, South Carolina, where my father retired at Fort Jackson. And so I lived there until the age of 21, then ended up going to law school in Kansas and then joining the Army after that. Bounced around a little bit, but then my last duty station was in this area. So this is where I settled down.
So law school, then military. That's different.
Yeah, because I was dumb.
Were you JAG?
I was a JAG. And my father was an infantry officer, and I did not like the Army growing up because I don't know if you know anything about the infantry, but they're tired, they work hard, and they're dirty. And that's nothing that I wanted to do. So if you would have asked me growing up if I was ever going to join the Army, I said no, which I never looked at ROTC. The Army has a funded legal education program, didn't think about anything like that. And then between my first and second year of law school, my father called me and said, "Hey, Dolly, there's this JAG internship program." And I said, "That's great. Not for me." And by the time we were done with the conversation, he had me standing at attention in my apartment. I'm not lying about this. Standing at attention on the phone in my apartment in Lawrence, Kansas, saying, "Yes, sir, I will apply. Yes, sir, I will try my best." I didn't think I was going to get selected. I got selected. I did my internship at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, fell in love with it, and then blinked. And 21 years later, I was retiring.
Wow. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
And Mike, what about you? What made you decide to join?
Well, so I had an uncle who was a Green Beret back in the 80s. And from the moment I got to, see his Green Beret, I was like, that's what I want to do. I was ready to go down that path and go all the dirty stuff that she was talking about. And then my uncle got a hold of me and said, "Don't you dare." He said, "Go join the Navy, go join the Air Force, go do something else. But don't join the infantry, don't join Green Beret, don't do any of that. It'll just teach you to get dirty and run around the woods." And I was like, "No, I want to." So
Get dirty and run around the woods.
I kind of listened to him halfway and didn't. I enlisted in the Army. I went the legal field. I was a paralegal. And then as often as I could, I went back to,
Getting dirty.
getting, that's right, getting dirty and being in the woods. So, and then similar to Dolly, it was 23 and a half for me, but yes, 23 and a half years later, it's like, wow, that went quick.
Wow. Yeah,
Lots of
it
fun. It was a
does.
great experience.
And you both were just lived in, I guess, from the legal side, you were always in the US, never abroad or anything?
Short answer, no. We spent some time in different places, deployed, been stationed all over.
This is where the competition comes in. And so if you have any veterans that are watching, they're please disable the comments on your podcast because I don't want to have to say, right, literally. So Michael says I am a unicorn because I am probably the happiest veteran you will ever meet in your whole entire life, right? So I had great assignments stateside. I had great assignments all over the world. I was in Germany. I was the person that was in Kuwait, not Iraq or Afghanistan. Then I was in Israel for a year. And so Michael's like, you're a unicorn. No one else has that type of career. Whereas he, once again, was the let me get dirty, let me run through the woods, let me sleep with one eye open. And I never had to do that.
Okay. So you did you served with some troops then,
Who, me?
Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say Dolly did too. It's just, I tell people all the time that if you're looking at Dolly's career as a recruiting pitch, disclaimer, experiences may vary.
That doesn't mean you can't have an experience like mine.
That's very true.
Right? Yeah. So it was a great time. And if it wasn't great, I wouldn't have done it for as long as I did.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
Army, hua all the way. I would not go back and change a thing.
No, it was fun.
Can you talk about any of what cases you had or types of cases?
So the great thing about the Army JAG Corps, and I promise you they're not paying me to say this. The great thing about the Army JAG Corps is that it makes you a jack of all trades. So I started out as an administrative law attorney, which a lot of people will be like, oh, she's just in regulations and stuff all the time, kind of boring, statutes. But I was also able to be in civilian terms, a prosecutor. I also was a defense counsel and handled murders, rapes, big time cases. You got to support all of our veterans who work their tails off and their bodies just kind of give out on them. I did a lot of medical boards and things of that nature. Also helped the JAG Corps with recruiting. Got to serve in Israel, working with both the Israelis and Palestinians on certain issues with security coordination. Got to train attorneys and paralegals, you name it. I got to do it a little bit. So I'm very happy with my service.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, and you were kind of based in one spot, but you kind of worked with different people all over kind of thing?
So no, for both of us, we moved all over. I think in my career, I think I moved 11 different times. Yeah, I think it was 11 different PCS permanent change of stations that I did in 23 years. It was a lot to move every so often, but it was either because I got promoted or I got accepted for a voluntary, cool assignment or whatever. I was always going after what was the next cool thing to do. So I chased a lot of assignments and did as many things as I could get my hands on.
Oh, that's cool.
And I just counted on my fingers. I moved 10 times. So anything from Washington, D.C. to Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst in New Jersey to Mannheim, Germany to Jerusalem, Israel. I did it. So
cool. What was it like back then, Israel?
Okay, now you're aging me. When you say back then, how far back are we?
Well, I don't know when you were there. I'm assuming it's been a minute.
I was there from 2018 to 2019. So things were pretty peaceful during the time period. It was great because my assignment let me work with a multinational unit. So I got
Cool.
to work with Brits, Canadians, Germans, the Dutch, Italians. I'm sure I'm missing a couple of countries, but it was fantastic. And, kind of opens your eyes to the world.
Yep.
And when we
Yep.
weren't working hard, we got to play hard. So, a lot of people don't get the opportunity to see Israel or Jordan under a peaceful, time period. So to be able to see the ruins in Petra or
Yeah.
see the old city in Jerusalem and walk the stations, to Christ's death, or go up north and see the Sea of Galilee and things of that
Yeah.
nature, I
It's pretty
wouldn't take
cool.
the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty neat. I wish there's a better solution,
Well, we'll see.
but
There's always a new day.
I mean, it's like it's never going to get solved, but we can't solve it on this podcast today. Anyway, cool. So what made you guys want to retire?
For me, it was family at the point where my kids, this is our second marriage. So my kids were pretty stationary, and I retired as a sergeant major. So I reached as high as I was going to get. Rank wise, you could always chase positions to be, in a more senior position out there. But as far as pay and rank, I was as high as I was going to get. It just became a point for me to make family the priority. So I think I kind of owed it to him to do that. I haven't regretted it. It's been a great decision. And now I get to enjoy all the time as a executive assistant to kids, a scheduler, a Uber driver,
Yep.
coach, teacher, homework assistant. I think all the other duties that come with it, stuff I missed out on for so long because
Yep.
I was chasing a career and doing all those things. So now I get to focus and do a lot more of that, which she lets me do, which is like I said,
It is let. I love that, right? Let.
even in the worst days of doing that stuff, it's still better than anything else. So you can't complain about it.
Yeah, 100%. I have some friends that are in a similar position where he was a police officer in New York City for 20 years and retired, and he's the dad at home now. And it was just really cool to see him spend so much time with his kids and relax and not have the stress and take them to school, know all their schedules of all the things. It was really cool. Yeah, that's neat.
I promise you, there's stress. I promise you, there's a lot of catching schedules.
Science
Yeah,
projects.
Boy Scout projects, sports training. Yes, there's a lot, but it's fun. As
It
I
is
said,
fun.
it's a good.
And it's worth it.
Yeah, that's great. And what about you, Dolly?
Oh, why did I retire? The same
Yeah.
thing. Family.
Okay.
I mean, to sum it up in one word, it was family. And those that are in the military know when it's time to do something else. And it was time to do something else. My kids with the previous marriage were very lucky in that a lot of the friends they had made from our last duty station actually moved to the Northern Virginia area. And so once we got here and got settled in a great school system, yay, Fairfax County, Virginia, great school system, good job, you name it. It was just time to say enough.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you. All right, cool. So when you guys decided to kind of roll out, did you have any issues, or I mean, was a transition okay for you all?
Okay,
Go ahead.
I get to go first. Okay, so we got to go back. So Michael didn't really know a lot about spirits, and he wanted to learn about spirits. So the transition was very, I think, smoother for him, whereas for me, it was very abrupt because literally we had a couple of conversations about, hey, I want to create an app because if I don't know this information, that means other people don't know this information, and I want to make this app to put it out to the world. And I kind of went, that's so sweet, baby. You've just retired. You're bored. You don't have anything to do. Keep dreaming. And I literally came home from work one day and he goes, I found the developer. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. We're going to create this app. I was like, holy shit, what has he done? Right. So that's how this baby was birthed, right? For the most part.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So literally came home one day and said, we're going to create an app. I want to call it the Bar Book. We've got to create a logo. We've got to do this. We've got to do whatever. And then it was, we're off to the races.
Awesome. Okay.
So she's right. I had a longer glide path. So I was fortunate for my last assignment. As I said, I was trying to figure out how to make everything transition to being closer to my kids and my family and that kind of stuff. So as I'm leaving my last assignment out in El Paso, Texas, I'm spending a lot of time flying back to DC and seeing my kids. It's how Dolly and I started to date and all that. But as I'm starting that long glide path to retirement, I am figuring out what to do next. And like Dolly said, I had a lot of people that in the military would talk to me about spirits and share their experiences and talk to me through flavors and things I might like and things of that nature. Where if you would have asked me back then, what's your favorite drink? I would have said, whatever whiskey or a Corona beer, right? Just something simple I can get my hands on and just enjoy. I didn't know enough about enough. So when I was making this transition and doing this, I was looking at a way to create a tool that could help people with kind of their flavor matching and find out what was next. Spitballed the idea to Dolly. She thought I was crazy. And she was like, somebody's already done this, right? We can't be the first people that thought of this. Somebody's put this together, whatever. And I said, no, I'm pretty sure they haven't. I've told a couple of my buddies and they don't think anybody's done this. And she's like, hold on. So she searched and she checked the internet and the app stores. And she's like, well, you're right. Like nobody has built this thing. She's like,
okay, so we had to stop. It's one of the few times I told him he was right. But when we're looking at the apps, what Michael wanted to do, other apps hadn't done. The other apps had little bits and pieces, right? So like if you look at Vivino, it's all about wine. If you look about Untapped or look at Untapped, it's beer. But because the spirits industry is so large and so diverse, and if you look outside of Kentucky and Tennessee, there are whiskeys and bourbons and vodkas and tequilas, you name it, it's all over the place. So it's like we're eating an elephant one bite at a time.
Gotcha.
So we decided to take flavors and turned it into a formula that matched it to you based off of an algorithm of likes, reviews, and ratings. And then at the end of the day, it spits out suggestions.
And it also allows you to keep track of what you like.
Right.
So you just may want to use it to keep track of what you like.
Yeah.
To use it for the suggestions. But just like I have apps on my phone that says I like this type of food, I like this type of wine, I like this type of whatever, I want to be able to go into a restaurant and look at their bar and say, I know I don't want, and I'm not picking on any brands when I say this, I'm just using it as an example. I know I want to try Casa Luna in my margarita tonight. I know I don't want Jose Cuervo, right? And so I can keep track of all of that. So it makes it easier when we're out eating and drinking.
Okay. And can you follow people?
Yes. So you can follow people, you can follow brands, people and brands. We're expanding the capabilities in this, but we're starting right now. The app is in beta. It's on both of the app stores, but we're starting with the basic functionality, which is the algorithm for flavor matching, right? Starting to, if you like, this gin or this bourbon or this whatever, it will pull if you will, a flavor fingerprint from that bottle and then flip it through our algorithm and find all the other bottles, regardless of spirit or even beer. It will flip through there and find things that align.
So a perfect example of that is the añejo tequilas. They're aged a lot longer than your silvers or your reposados. So what I found when I was hanging out with my Canadian friends is that they're like, no, we don't like tequila. But when they had the añejos, it has a similar certain scotches. And so they were able to pivot because of the profiles and say, oh, if I like this type of scotch, then I may like this type of tequila. And that's what we're trying to help people do.
It's interesting. I just talked to the owner of Suavecito Tequila. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard it. It's in Total Wine only.
Mm-hmm.
But what he's telling people there in Yeho is the number one selling item. And what he tells people is that say they don't like tequila, but they like whiskey, to try it. And he's like, I've converted so many people that said they don't like tequila. It's not even funny, like over the years, you know?
Yeah.
And
so
it's
that's one
so
of the things this
interesting.
can do. Exactly what you're saying is that this can do that. So, a brand like the tequila you're talking about may pay either in their own time or through a brand ambassador. They may pay somebody to stand at a liquor store or a bar, whatever, and host a bottle share or a tasting or whatever, where they're pouring little shots, and they'll do it for 8 hours or so, 6 hours, whatever it may be. By the time you pay that person to go there, you pay for the banners and the booth little setup that you do, and the all the stuff that goes on the table, and then the person to pour it. You're spending a couple $100 to put this thing together and then replicate in small doses over and over. That's still the best way. Liquid to lips is still the best way to find out if you like something or not, right? It really is. What we are going to do is shrink your pool. So instead of looking at that wall of tequila and saying, oh my gosh,
where do I start?
Yeah, where do I start? It seems so overwhelming. We'll be able to take that and shrink it down to, 4 or 5 things that fit with what you already like, and get you in there. Because buying a bottle and trying it yourself, that gets expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So are you going to brands with this then to get them on the app?
Yes. So right now, one of the biggest pushes we're doing we anticipate, so I'll back this up a second. We anticipate going full marketing, spending money, launching probably the end of August, beginning of September. So targeting Labor Day kind of ish, where we can get out of beta and say the app is functioning the way we anticipate. We know future updates will come, but at least it's where we want it to be for now. So while we're doing that, we're approaching brands, bars, restaurants, breweries, distilleries, and saying, if you have a bottle, we will give you full access to your brand page, your control of all the back-end admin data, totally free for at least the remainder of 2025. We're giving it to them totally free. And we ask 2 things in return. 1, tell people you're on the app, right? Because it's going to help us grow the community. And 2, give us real feedback. Tell us what we don't know, because we designed this app from a consumer point of view. From, if I'm buying this or tasting this, what would I want to know?
Yeah.
What we don't have a real good perspective on. We've got a lot of feedback, so we're getting better at it. But what we'd still love to know more is, what does a brand want to know?
What does the brand want to sell?
I think that they're going to want customer profiles of who's right.
So there is part of that, yes.
Yep. And yeah, that's really interesting, because that kind of creates a community of the system too. When it comes to the business itself, the distributors are put in a really poor place right now. The consolidation has really hurt us long term with all the developing brands. And so they don't have time like they used to develop relationships and sell. They're just kind of in a position where they only can just take whatever they can. They're run thin. They don't have enough employees, all the things, right? And so I think having that target list and that target market, if you can connect the brands to the stores, you create lists of accounts for the right brands.
So you're 100% right. And that is the data
that's why she said it, babe.
That is the data that
you guys are a riot. What are dinners like with you guys?
Well, be careful what you ask for.
No.
Is there tequila involved?
Oh, our tequila dinners are fantastic.
They are.
Yes.
That data that you're talking about is available. I won't say easily available, but it's available through sales data, right? What we can do differently is we can break those molds. So, for example, if you are selling to a distributor, you own a bottle, you're in Iowa, you can sell to a distributor in Iowa and maybe 1 or 2 states in your surrounding areas, right? You're getting that bubble. What we can give you is where your flavors are hitting other markets that have similar flavor spikes, right? So let's say, I'm going to use something very, very simple. Let's say vanilla is a huge market in Kentucky, right? So for some reason it is spiking. Everybody is drinking, doesn't matter what bottle or brand or a beer or spirit or whatever it is if it has some sort of vanilla, it is selling top over there in Kentucky. And it is, a lot of people are hitting that note out there. Well, you have a lot of stuff in your inventory that may have that vanilla profile as well. And I know flavor profiles are much more complex than just vanilla, but
Right.
simplicity. Your flavor profile is very similar. So you can go to a distributor and say, look, my fingerprint is an 86% match to what's selling at the top over here. Let's
have a conversation.
let's inject
Yeah.
our stuff into that market because I think we can do well.
That's cool. So how do you come up with the descriptions?
So most of the descriptions we pull is data mining through, I mean, we have people that are helping us with data mining through basically the distillers, the producers, their websites. And once we build a brand, regardless of whether they decide to take part in the app or not, we do two things. I send them an email that says, hey, just added your brand onto the app. If you'd love to go in here and take a look, tell me if I got something wrong. If I messed up on your flavor profile, if you don't like the picture, just shoot me an email and I will fix it immediately. But it's about showcasing your brand. We'll do that. And then the other thing is we shout them out on all our socials. Hey, if you haven't heard of, check this out. They're now on the bar book, something along those lines.
Cool.
Both for, our own purposes, it shows that we're growing and building the inventory, but two, it also gives a shout out to some of these brands. We do focus heavily on craft brands, smaller producers, because I don't think they get enough love and attention. And just as you mentioned, it's hard to break in and get distributors and market share.
Yep.
And they don't get a lot of love and attention. So we love the big brands, but the big brands don't need our help. Right?
Yeah.
But the smaller brands that are in our community, Michael's going to roll his eyes because I tell the story to everybody. But Bowman Brothers, right? We live in Springfield, Virginia. They are down in Fredericksburg. That's where their distillery is. I did not know until we started the bar book that there's this great distillery, 35 miles from us? And their spirits are fantastic. Like yummy, yummy. He hates when I say this, but yummy, yummy deliciousness, right? Like if you ever hear me go somewhere and say it's yummy, yummy deliciousness, that means it's really good. And so we want to help them. Now, Bowman has grown quite a bit where we get to see them in a lot of places when we go to different states and things of that nature. But that's what we're talking about, is getting kind of evening the playing field.
Gotcha.
Because the other thing is, and I'm sorry to talk too much, but because the other thing is not everybody can afford a Blanton's or what are the other ones? An Old Fitzgerald, a Weller's, or be available in your area. So putting other brands on the bar book helps everybody. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm just thinking of all the clients that I have that would probably want to be part of that.
Yeah, I mean, so any of your clients or friends or connections or anybody who's watching this podcast, if you've got a brand and you're looking for what amounts to free marketing, we're not charging anybody right now. The beauty is the overhead for this operation, you're looking at it, right? So this is
we're still happily married.
Right. There's not some big tech company in the sky that's building this and running this together. Like, it is Dolly and I in every aspect of this, from showing up at different places and doing the presentations to building the data and data mining. It is us. I have my college-age daughter who's helping out a little bit as well, but it's us.
Yeah. Fiverr and Upwork are really good sources for things like that. They can scrape data pretty quickly.
So I've looked at those and thought about some of those, and I used a service once to do some of that for us. It's not bad. It's just, I have a college student right now who needs help with a summer job. So I'm like,
hey, if it works, that's great.
It does right now.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Well, I can see some synergies with us. I know that when we first met the first time, we went down the list of all the things that how we could work together. Cause for example, with my platform, my data platform, what I want to start doing is doing that whole process of, okay, well, you've got this wine at this price. Here's your consumer base. Okay, well, where do these people shop?
Yeah.
Let's get them a list of accounts on and off premise that are perfect for the people that are going to buy this X, product. And then that becomes a task for the distributor to be like, okay, we want to get X products in here, and kind of keep track and keep a list. And then there's some direction there instead of just, okay, we're in the distributor, let's see what they do, kind of thing. I'm not saying that's what people do. I'm just saying it helps build a little bit of structure within the system. And then we can and then track that.
I think you're right. I think there's some real synergies between what we can do, and we will have to, flush those out and go down each of those, trails, figuring that stuff out, because the we are not a direct to consumer shipping sales platform.
But we will be one day.
Yeah,
I'm sure you will.
That's one of my goals.
But we are telling people where to get this stuff, right? So there is definitely soon to be turned on a pass-through button that will, you can click buy in the app, but it will take you out to the brand's purchase website, whatever that may be. We may cut out the middleman later, like Dolly said, and expand our capabilities, but we also share where those spirits are available on-prem. So like, your bars and restaurants.
Because we just had a great visit to New Orleans.
We did.
Oh, yeah. So where we can showcase bars, because where Michael's talking about the products themselves, I get really frustrated when we travel and I want to drink a certain cocktail and don't know where to go. Because how many times have people gone to a restaurant, gone to a bar, and they have a cocktail and they literally like, this sucks. Like I could have made this better at home. So the other part of the bar book is showcasing bars, showcasing bartenders. So if you're traveling to certain cities and you are in the mood for something, you can look at the bar book and go, I want to go to X bar or X restaurant because I know they're going to have what I want.
And
that's cool.
We take it even a step further. So if you've looked on the app, and I encourage anybody that's watching to take, while we're talking about this, look on the app. So each product has a profile page, right? You open it up, it will tell you who makes it, what the name of it is, a picture of it, a rating based off the community ratings, and then a little description, its flavor, fingerprint or profile down there at the bottom, where it's available. It has a news feed connect to it, cocktails that are made from that kind of spirit, similar bottles, and then down at the bottom, it has the reviews, right? So all of that for every product that's on this app. We also do that for cocktails. So what Dolly just mentioned about going to your favorite bar, if you're traveling to a bar, most of the time, if you go to a bar now and you look up the bar ahead of time, she's like, I want to see what they have. It's going to give you a PDF menu, and it's going to be 5 or 6 words under the name of a cocktail. A lot of times it's brand words, and you may not even know what kind of spirit those brand words mean.
Which we've done before. I'm like, what is this? What kind of, spirit is that?
And then it's 5 or 6 words, and then no picture, and then a number just telling you the price, right? That's all it is. And it's a menu, right? That's what you see online. You look at that same bar in the bar book. We now have the picture of the cocktail. We will have the name, the flavor profile, all the data about it, and what other people who went there and they said, imagine you go to a bar and you're like, hey, if Jen is working tonight, ask her for the old fashioned. She makes it the best.
That's cool.
If Mark is working, he makes a better margarita, right? Whatever, right? You can see that in the comments down at the bottom for those bars. So you mix so many other applications and you center it around alcohol. And that's kind of what we're doing, building the community around the spirits and the flavors you love.
So if you're ever in Northern Virginia and you love Japanese food, you need to go to the Modan, Modan restaurant, because we took Michael there for Father's Day, and they make the most fantastic lychee martini you have ever had in your whole entire life, to where I was so grateful that we Ubered and did not drive. Had to get a hotel room that night, but it was literally like you just take the martini glass and you're like, that's how good that cocktail was.
They do make some fantastic cocktails.
Yes.
That's the experience now, that's what makes it so fun.
It is.
We did something similar. We had some friends here. They've kind of helped me with my business, and she's a lawyer, so she's helped me with some contracts and whatnot. And so I wanted them to have a really cool experience. And it's a Mexican restaurant, just like a half a mile or mile from our house. and we got the flaming cheese where they light it on fire, and they have like a 7 and a 9-year-old. So, and it was late and they spent the day at the beach. So they needed some excitement. And then we did the big tomahawk, thing. And then we did the, all the things that light up. We did a few of those, and then we did a mezcal tasting, and it was just an amazing experience to try all the different things. And that's, it's been my word for then that last couple of years. I think you got to elevate, and you got to have that experience to really take consumers to that next level. When you think about all the brands out there competing, that's kind of what you got to do.
Now imagine that you did that exact same thing, and then you just tried 3 or 4 different mezcal shots, right? You had the sampling, and you could record which ones you liked the best and which one you didn't, and all that kind of stuff.
And we did. We had them, and we went through them, and we're like, yes, no, and then that changed, and then it was fun. It was really, we could have totally done that.
And you save it into the app, and now the next time you're out and you're like, I want that one mezcal. What was it? And instead of trying to remember in text, chat, and group, you can literally go back and look at it on your phone and find it in the app, and it will have all your data about that kind of stuff.
What sounds fun?
We don't collect as much individual data, right? Like, names don't really matter a whole lot, right? You can have a pseudonym or whatever in an email. The big things we want to know is your geographic location and your flavor likes. That's pretty much it. Your age, obviously, because we need to make sure you're 21 to use the platform. But that only tells us, like anything else, this age range likes these kind of drinks more than these kind. It'll give us that
gender.
Data on the passion.
Do you catch gender? Because I think that could be interesting.
I don't think we do ask it. Yeah, we do ask it on there. So it's captured.
Because that would be interesting to see
questions we ask.
The differences between men and women, if there is any.
We choose better tasting drinks.
Well, it's known that women have better palates.
We choose
I will not argue that point whatsoever, because that is one of the founding reasons for the bar book is Miss self-proclaimed wine snob over here.
Okay, no. I'm not a self-proclaimed wine snob. He calls me a wine snob. I was very lucky when I went to law school. I met a really good friend from California. We were in the same law school class, and she had this book, which, of all of the wines that she had tried and what she liked about them, what she didn't like about them. Right?
I literally
I learned from her what to look for. And so after 20 years, you figure out what you like and what you don't like. But I'm type A. I want to know why I don't like something just because I don't like it. So we actually took a cruise to where we took a wine tasting class, because Michael is from Indiana and knows nothing about wines. And in the wine tasting class, it was they had you taste wines.
Yes, she is a self-proclaimed wine snob, and it is funny because she knows so much about so many different wines. When she was telling me about these flavors,
I'm back.
Hi. I make the joke that I can't pick out nuanced flavors. What I can tell you is whether I like it or I don't.
So back to my story, because I'm back. So we're at this wine tasting, and it was taste the wine and pick out the grape, whether it's old world, new world, what region, whatever. And I think I got 4 out of 5. Like even sommelier was like, where the heck did you come from? And I'm like, but it's like, I'm not a plant. I just, have learned this over the years. And so Michael wanted to have that same experience with spirits, that, you can taste something and know where it came from, how it was made, and whether we wanted to try it again.
I have now taken classes. Obviously, I've learned a lot through the bar book.
Tell her about the certificate.
Yes. I have my WESIT 2 in spirits. So yes.
Nice.
I'm learning more as we go.
There's a lot to learn.
There is. Yes. There is.
I mean, you got sake that is really hard.
Yes.
But fun.
It's a great industry. I mean, you've experienced this, so I'm preaching to the choir here, but it is the one industry that I've found that it doesn't matter who you walk up to or who you ask a question to, they will stop what they're doing and try to help you and walk you through whatever. Everybody's an open book. Nobody is trying to hide there is competition in the industry, but not as a ruthless competition. It's more of a gamesmanship competition, but everybody wants to see everybody succeed. It's really, like I said, I have not seen, I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but I have just not seen it in the industry of anybody who's just like, I don't want to help you because you're my competitor. It has really been, sure, how can we work together?
And he's so serious. The other part about this industry is it's just fun. You get a whole
Yeah.
bunch of people in a room trying different drinks.
It is.
It's fun.
It's fun. Yeah, it is. It is fun. I agree. We do have fun and people are really nice. You know, I wanted to get over kind of back over to y'all. Do you have anything else that you want to mention about the bar book, or do you have a website, or just is it
Yeah,
just
so the app is available on both app stores, on both Android and Apple. It is on the web. If you go to thebarbook.app, you can see some of the videos, tutorial stuff about the app, learn a little bit more, see profiles on Dolly and I, and kind of, yeah, how the app came about. All that stuff's on there. We are, as we tell people all the time, we are not some big tech company in the sky, that has a faceless corporation behind it. It is literally Mike and Dolly, grinding away, trying to make an app that really supports this industry. That's kind of our mission, is to make sure that everybody gets noticed, everybody gets, some love and attention out there. We don't want to see another brand, shut their doors.
Because that's a scary thing, because there is so much competition. And, with everybody coming out of COVID and things, there was a distillery that we visited in Virginia Beach. And that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they had a great story. They had found the old pots from Jamestown. They found the well that the settlers had used to, for the water, to do all this stuff. It was this great story. And 2 years later, they're gone.
Yep.
it's really hard and it's really expensive.
Yes. Yeah.
But that distillery turned me on to the bee's knees, because I'd never had a bee's knees, and it was fantastic. And what made theirs so great is that they had beehives in the back, to where instead of using ice cubes, they would freeze the honeycomb, and the honeycomb served as the ice cubes in the drink. And then as it melted, you got the honey. It was fantastic.
That does sound good. That's what a great idea.
It was yummy, 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 to where, granted, we don't have the honeycomb here, even though Michael's mom is a beekeeper herself. But there may have been, rumor has it, a night to where I was here by myself and Michael was out doing football stuff. And so was it bourbon that I did that night? Anyway,
bourbon.
Somehow I got my mother-in-law's honey, which is fantastic, Richardson Farms. So her honey and with the bourbon, and mixed it together. And by the time Michael got home, he was like, "Oh my God, Dolly, what has happened to you?" And I'm like, "I'm the happiest person in the world tonight." And then he joins me once he realized how good it tasted. So
they were very good.
They were very good.
That sounds good. I love honey. Well,
then you should come visit, because his mother's honey is fantastic.
Okay, sounds good. My wife has not been to DC, so that's part of a plan.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, put it on the list.
Just timing. We're busy people.
Well, just wait till the fall when it cools down a little bit, and then just come on over.
Yeah, I think the fall will be a good time to come up.
Yes.
Wait till kids are in school.
Spring and fall are nice up here. The summer is just,
Yeah.
I'd like to switch over to mentors if you guys are ready.
Sure. Okay.
You guys pick who wants to go first, but do you have any mentors that you want to mention, whether it's with the app or
go ahead,
in your service time?
So one of my mentors, her name is Marilyn Chifulo. And when I was growing up in the Army, I want to be just like her, right? She is the kindest, sweetest, but awesome leader I've ever had. And
Nice.
her goal was always to care about people. And when I was growing up in the Army, there weren't a lot of females in my leadership chain, right? And so she was one of the first ones that I ever dealt with. And it didn't mean that she treated me differently because I was a female. She treated everybody equally. But I think both men and women can acknowledge, when you see someone that looks like you, or you see someone like that you want to be like, it helps you work harder to be like them. And so she was probably my number one mentor. Then there's another mentor that I had, Patricia McDaniel, who's awesome. She lives in Texas. And I love her because she was the one, you got to always have someone in your corner that tells you what your faults are and helps you, I don't say change, but mitigate some of those faults. So as you've noticed through this podcast, I'm a little outgoing and I'm a little mouthy, right? And that can take some people aback. And so she worked with me when I was a younger soldier to understand how you can come across to others.
Produced by Fedora J Productions. Tune in next Thursday and have a great week.